And the last thing that I'd like to say is that the immunity will apply to any lawsuit that is still pending. So if you had a lawsuit pending, the immunity would apply to that. So that's the information on liability. And I have this folder on it, and this is the legislative act. So I'm going to give this to Tina for our file because I think it's worth having. And briefly, the second workshop I attended was on state grants and new opportunities. And again, I have a list of probably 8 new grants that will be coming through. And some of them concern transportation, others concern grants for school buses, and any number of other things. So this I'm also going to give to you, Bob, and to Tina. And there's also a letter here concerning, I don't want to state this. The state of Connecticut will no longer fund grants and loans from state bond funds.
Yeah, I got notice on that.
Through the tax exempt proceeds fund, so you have that. So
Yeah,
that
already
came
filled
out,
out.
that came out, because I have the paperwork for you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's what happened at the CCM conference, and I think it was worth attending.
Okay, thank you, okay, a wood policy. No.
We did not get that from
Amended
Judy Dixon
building
today.
code
We're
ordinance,
supposed
yes,
to
right.
let, but we didn't get that yet. Yeah.
We're going to table that until the next meeting. She sent us the wrong one. 13, wood policy.
I just have a few comments just to set it straight. We were talking about wood policy last time. In a letter from Judy Dixon dated March 23rd, 2009, she states that the wood is the property of the owner on the land which trees are growing. In other words, if the town cuts wood on your land, even though it's in the right of way, it's your wood unless otherwise. I suggested Mr. Kelsey pick some up at someone's yard. I think we need to make it clear that it has to be clear to the landowners first before anybody starts taking
Yes,
wood.
try to refuse them.
Right.
Okay.
I just wanted to clarify that. And it was also brought up, we don't deliver wood, but in fact we do deliver wood. In the wood policy, if a person is willing to fill out a form holding the town liable for damages if the truck backs into your yard and does something, you can get on a list. And the whole idea behind this was if someone was cutting trees up in South Ellsworth and someone in Ellsworth wanted firewood, we would deliver it to them rather than haul it all the way down to the town garage. So I just want to make that clear that we do deliver wood. Per the policy that was adopted.
I offered some wood to Mr. Kelsey, some ash that was up on the hill. I didn't want the ash. He wanted to get snake on it.
Anyway, just points of clarity.
Is that extended wood chips?
You don't use it, Jim.
No.
Just
Okay,
easy.
tax refunds.
Tax refunds, we have to give money back. And this first one here
There
is
is only one.
only one. To Elaine Larkin on 86 Upper Main Street. She overpaid her taxes at a total of, let's see,
Check it down towards the middle.
$8.56. So we have to give that back. So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, public comment. Paul.
Hey guys, I may not have been able to follow that because we didn't have copies of the stuff that Florian and his lawyer were talking about. But if I understand it, you guys have just voted to pay $35,000 to a guy who was willing to accept $19,000. And I frankly,
Yes, he did.
and I find it bizarre. I also find it bizarre that both of the selectmen have been accused of accepting gratuities from the same guy in the past. I mean, that's just, you admitted it, John.
I'm not accepting it, so I told him. I told him
You said you did the same thing in Macon.
You already have
No, I told you I had work done by him and it took 2 years to build it. That was before this administration was ever.
Anyway, you have.
All
think I need to answer.
Okay.
I know the man no money out of it before this administration ever came into the meeting.
Would you make sure that mine lives in the record along with Bill Kelsey's? From
There.
last time.
Public
Thank you.
Okay. Kathy?
I'm wondering what's going to be done to Keeler Road and the beginning of Lambert Road where it meets Keeler Road. Is there going to be something done before winter?
We have to do some patching there. We've had, many rainstorms that have washed out our dirt roads, and we had to get back to them first to keep them safe. But we will be cutting those, opening those areas there, cutting them back to where there's good pavement and putting in patch in those holes.
Okay, thank you. I also have a question on Lambert Road. If I'm going south on Lambert from my house, between the second hump bump and the third hump bump, there's a big hole in the middle of the road.
Okay, something we haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah, so I didn't know if you were aware of it or not, but
Okay.
I don't mind the hump bump things,
Yeah.
but the hole in the road, I almost have to go in the woods to get around it.
Okay.
So thank you.
All right. Thank you.
No, Lambert.
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 Motion to adjourn.
I'd like to make just one brief comment before we adjourn. The last two selectmen's meetings have been very uncomfortable for the three of us as well as the general public that's going to listen to this. It is my hope that we, as a board, have learned some lessons from this. The primary lesson would be that contracts are of the utmost importance. It's wonderful to say that you don't have to do that, but you do. And it is the town's responsibility to inform contractors that we have a $20,000 limit on what can be spent. I think during the course of the conversation, it was assumed that perhaps Florian should have reminded the town, and in fact, the town should have asked him, specifically, Florian, do you project that this project will be over $20,000? But that was not asked. It was assumed that he would come and knock on the door and say, oh, guess what?
Florian knew that.
But if it's not, if it's in a contract, then it's not what you know and what you don't know.
He stressed that point at the time when we met at the hospital with Charlotte Karen. But that's why we were going and asking them to do that, do the $40,000, because in order for the town to do it, we would have to go out to bid.
Right.
Because in the past, contractors were awarded jobs that were huge amounts of money, over between $600,000 and $700,000, without any bids at all. And that was where that came into play.
The contaminated soil.
Yeah, contaminated soil down at the.
Well, do we go out to bid on the drainage work for the road project?
Because we never expected to get a bill. I never.
No, I mean the road project. I mean the current road project. This is a $6 million project. We must have done over $20,000 worth of drainage work.
Oh, for the drainage, we, at a selectmen's meeting, we put out some bids at one time.
But we never had bids from the actual drainage. We had bids from,
No,
we had a bid from Mr. Purdy for Swaller Hill, and we had bids from Mr. McGarvey and the Sharon Masonry. But I don't recall bidding with the actual drainage.
No, we didn't do that, but we agreed at a meeting that we would do it on a time and material basis. That was in a board of selectmen's meeting.
I'm just saying, if you're saying everything over $20,000 here, and yet Mr. Palmer is held to it, I believe he worked on a time and materials basis as well, because I don't think he bid, it wasn't a bid job. It's very
Well,
similar.
it's still in contention. It's still in contention that, because originally, my belief was that the town was not going to get billed by anything from Palmer's budget. And I'm still under that belief. I'm sorry, that's my belief.
If it was in a contract, you wouldn't have that question.
That's true. That's where,
So we've learned a lesson,
Yeah.
which is my point.
well, there are
What does that mean? What does that mean, Bob?
What is, we learn constantly.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.